Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and this is a story that has been much requested by several people on Discord and on social media, and it is, of course, the story behind ReadyUp Studios and the allegations made against them by Ocean Spark Studios. In addition to the viewer requests, I even had a direct shout-out from BigFryTV and is expressing the hope that I would cover this on my own channel within his video. BigFry has been a YouTube friend for quite some time, and his is an opinion that I absolutely trust, and when he says I should look into this, well, there's no way that I wouldn't listen to him. That said, it's been another long week at the day job, and I'm a bit bleary-eyed and playing catch-up, but I wanted to make sure I did my due diligence and look at as much material that is still available as possible. And this is an absolutely baffling issue between the statements on both sides and the recent information that came out later this week. This is a situation in which the waters have been so muddied by claims and counterclaims that it has been made very difficult to unravel to any meaningful degree. That said, let's get into the particulars, and then I'll give my own opinion and interpretation of what I think may be going on. Links to anything publicly available will be down in the description below. So first, let's get a little backstory. As I said, this is about ReadyUp Studios, and their currently being developed MMO titled Oath. Oath was funded successfully on Kickstarter to the tune of $67,749, nearly doubling their pledge goal of $35,000, and ReadyUp Studios has continued funding on their own website and appear to have raised, as of my recording this, over $116,000. Recently, several allegations have been leveraged against ReadyUp Studios by Ocean Spark Studios, who were hired on by ReadyUp to create assets for the game. Among those allegations were allegations of non-payment that have been stated as £4,000 in an additional payment due for the month of October, as stated in a video clip that I'll play here in a second. In addition, Ocean Sparks has alleged ReadyUp as being incompetent, engaging in lies, misrepresentations, blocking Ocean Sparks from the servers, blocking Ocean Sparks from the Discord, and ReadyUp asking if they could pay them at a later date in September this year. And also an accusation that ReadyUp were having them basically make the game for them. Now, I'll go ahead and play a clip from the video that Ocean Sparks have posted on YouTube. This is obtained from the YouTuber Cryy's video that was posted on October 16th, and I am assuming it was blurred by him. The original video has since been privated by Ocean Sparks at the request of ReadyUp in an attempt to resolve the situation. And ReadyUp's initial response to this video was also pulled down, although very quickly ReadyUp reposted their original response on their website, which is still currently viewable. So here's the clip in question.
Currently owed £4,000 for September, which we've done a full month's work for them, declined other contracts, and they've not paid us, claiming something today about breaking the contract or something, but they're not telling us what. So obviously us turning down contracts means we now don't have the work that we could have had, paying the bills, paying for everything. We've got people, families, staff, houses to pay for, and this has completely screwed us over. They technically owe us another 4k for this month because we've gone into contract with them as well, which we don't care about. We literally just want the money for the work we've done. We just wanted to make a message to basically say we're contacting Kickstarter. We need everyone else to try and contact Kickstarter. Ask for your money back because this game's not getting made. They have not got another art team, no matter what they're saying. We were the only people working on the art other than the other two from Discord.
This was all summed up in a massive 42-page PDF created by Ocean Sparks and shared via a Google Drive that is no longer publicly available for reasons that we'll get into in just a moment. As that is the case, I will be using footage and screenshots taken from Cryy's video, and I would absolutely suggest you go give his video a look, and I will link that video down in the description. What started the entire battle between the two companies was over some grass assets. According to Ocean Sparks, they had been asked to create some grass for the game, which they did, and was approved by ReadyUp. ReadyUp, though, wanted some animation with grass and asked Ocean Spark if they could do that, to which Ocean Sparks agreed. Ocean Sparks then claims that they pulled up this Unreal Engine asset pack as it included code for similar motion that they wanted to use, and then they referenced that code to design their own. Ocean Sparks then, according to them, accidentally uploaded the incorrect package to the build and submitted it. The build was apparently throwing errors in Unreal Engine due to a file being missing. When ReadyUp informed them of this, Ocean Sparks uploaded the missing file. ReadyUp then claims they randomly came across the Unreal asset pack in question and noted the same naming stylized foliage pack as the asset that OceanSparks had just submitted. And as a result, ReadyUp took this as a breach of contract and released the statement that I referenced before, in which they said, "This raised a big red flag for us. We contracted out a company to make things for Oath, not to purchase them from other people and pass them off as unique to Oath. So we decided to do an audit of everything OceanSparks had given us to see how many other times this happened." During this period, we did indeed pause our payments to them because, of course, we are not going to pay them if all they do is buy from the marketplace and resell to us. We have paid them over $10,000 so far, and we are not spending another dime on anything that isn't what our contract agreed upon. That is where we are at now, but they didn't want to wait and took the nuclear option, trying to get ahead of the story so they can shape it how they want. While this wouldn't have been a deal breaker on its own, according to the Unreal Marketplace Terms of Service, it is not allowed to resell purchased content from the marketplace. This put us as a company in jeopardy, as we technically would be using assets from the marketplace that we didn't legally own, since OceanSparks couldn't legally sell it to us. This could mean legal trouble for us and or being barred from using Unreal Engine. OceanSparks had also stated within the interview conducted by Cryy that they were left with the impression that ReadyUp was waiting for an excuse to refuse payment or to cancel the contract with them, providing excuses and dodging the questions of payment through late September and into early October. OceanSparks also stated that Steven, the primary point of contact from ReadyUp, seemed woefully unprepared to answer even basic questions regarding the design of the game, including stating that the size per island would take 20 to 30 minutes to run across, which is pretty massive in size. OceanSparks also stated that they were not granted access to any sort of character to use with which to test collisions and the like. It is worth noting that in the clip shown, between the first and second Discord snips, a period of 6 days had passed, and the third Discord snip appears to have been timestamped as 1 day before the first Discord screenshot. In an additional screenshot, OceanSparks claims that Steven was in charge of the world building and that he asked if they could provide assistance with that as well, pointing out that this was in August and there is a slated playable demo/alpha promised for December. Later on, they screenshot Steven asking them to pause development for a couple of weeks in late July of this year due to budgetary concerns. Then lastly, OceanSparks stated in their interview with Cryy that they had not been paid at all for the month of September and that they were now due for October as well, and that this situation has left OceanSparks in the position of one member of the team leaving to get a job elsewhere in the industry. They're having to let 2 others go, leaving OceanSparks with just 2 people, and stating that even £4,000 would not save the company, and as a result, OceanSparks have been forced to begin selling off their equipment. Next, there were some concerns as to the legitimacy of ReadyUp Studios, as someone had apparently filed a PayPal chargeback over the situation, and they received an automated response from a company called Extrinsic Studio LLC. As for this company, most people will not even be aware of its existence. I know I certainly had never heard of it before, but it appears to have been developing or had developed a game called Terra Online, spelled with 2 R's, so no, it doesn't involve the other Terra Online, back in 2013. And several of the videos on the Extrinsic Studio Terra Online YouTube channel are still present today, and this also appears to be an MMO. A corporation LLC search for Extrinsic shows that it was belonging to one Stuart Bedore and had undergone involuntary dissolution in 2016. Another corporation search for ReadyUp Studios LLC turns up the same name, Stuart Bedore, in the same state. Now, in a response to all of this, ReadyUp have published an additional statement on their website, and right away it's plain to see ReadyUp's continued hyper-focus on the Unity asset pack as they post a snip of the contractor's agreement stating, "Notice the word original. This means that it must be created by OceanSpark. This distinction will become important later on." In the second segment of the response, ReadyUp shows snips of their bank statements showing that they had paid OceanSparks right up to and including £2,000 on September 3rd. Then they relaunch into the argument surrounding the pre-bought asset, but expand upon that by saying their excuse is that they accidentally uploaded the wrong file. That just is not possible with Perforce and Unreal Engine. Anyone who knows Unreal should know why. Also, if they know the grass had a missing texture and they saw the name of the texture, they should have known it was the wrong one. Instead of fixing it, they uploaded it because it wasn't a mistake. They knew what they were doing. They proceeded to fill half the map with the grass. It just isn't possible for them to do that without noticing it was the wrong texture. Then continued on to point out that the grass model allegedly came from another project called Project Survival. They then launched into the unpaid revenue, stating that once they had discovered the asset pack, they told OceanSparks to hold off on any additional development without telling them the reason why, as ReadyUp did not want them to cover their tracks. They admit to not paying the second September installment, as ReadyUp state that they would not pay for original assets only to be handed off bought assets instead. They then claim that OceanSparks caught wind of what was going on and attempted to preemptively take control of the situation by releasing their YouTube video and releasing the 42-page PDF in order to paint ReadyUp as the bad guys. Then they moved on to the level streaming and world building, and the poignant fact here is that screenshots showcasing how Helen from OceanSparks had offered to assist with the world building and Steven accepting while stating that they were going to ask them to pitch in on that already. Next was the accusations surrounding asset flipping and the use of marketplace assets, in which ReadyUp say, the plan from the start was to use the marketplace for what we need, pay artists for things we want original to oath, release the game, then slowly over time when we are making money, update things as we go. That is how we can afford to make a big game with a little budget. We don't see what the problem is here. Our entire Kickstarter video says that. No idea why this is coming as a shock to some people. All the code is our own, except one plugin we use. The only thing we use from the marketplace are visual things such as some animations and particle effects. ReadyUp then continued on to state that they will be filing a defamation lawsuit against Cryy over his video discussing this topic and interviewing two of the developers from OceanSparks, which you can bet your ass I'll have something to say about that once we finish running through the information. Then finally, ReadyUp state that the reason for the extrinsic replies from PayPal, they say that it was an old company owned by their CEO, and they had simply reused that PayPal account as opposed to going through the process of creating a new PayPal business account, and they had forgotten to update the auto-reply message. And now, the aftermath. Well, OceanSparks' online presence is now gone. Their website has been taken offline, their Twitter account no longer exists, their Facebook account is gone, the PDF they had posted is no longer accessible, and by all indications, OceanSparks is no longer in existence. In addition, I've been in contact with BigFryTV all day yesterday regarding this issue, and he provided me with a screenshot that I did receive permission from him to use. Now, bear in mind, BigFryTV has taken down his video. This is not at all due to what was said in the screenshot, but was due to the fact that, as more information came out, he did not feel right about everything that OceanSparks have said, and as there is a lack of trust there, he no longer felt comfortable about all the information contained within his video and did not want to provide anyone with something that might not be accurate. This is the screenshot I was referring to, in which one of the members of OceanSparks was claiming that this issue blowing up is endangering their job prospects, as the employers are saying that it won't look good on the companies, and BigFry was asked to pull his video down, and in light of that, I would suspect that Cryy would have likely received a similar request. And in an additional screenshot, it stated more plainly that the job offer would be revoked if this whole mess didn't disappear. So that is the information as I'm currently aware, and there's still more, but I wanted to try and keep this video to some level of manageability, so here are my thoughts on all of this, and I think you all can agree that when I said the waters had been muddied, I wasn't joking. Basically, what we have here is not just ReadyUp being in the party who is in the wrong, but we have a situation where both ReadyUp and OceanSparks were at fault, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's break this up a little bit before that. First, OceanSparks. It seems to me that OceanSparks were already overextending themselves, as being able to pay a lease plus pay for a staff of 5 people, as we had the 2 people on the call with Cryy, 1 person that left to take a job elsewhere, and 2 people that were let go, so yeah. That makes 5. Yeah, £4,000 for 5 adults' wages plus operating a business is not at all within the realm of feasibility. In addition, I absolutely cannot escape the fact that from what little of what I saw from the now inaccessible 42-page PDF, OceanSparks played a shell game with their snips in what seems to me to be a deliberate attempt to obfuscate things and make ReadyUp out to be the villains in some of the scenarios where that might not have been how things actually happened. There was a clear perceptual issue on the part of OceanSparks, and whether inadvertently or directly, OceanSparks led this situation down this path in terms of the public format this argument is churned into. OceanSparks made the video. They made it public. Now, I understand why they did. It seemed to them that avenues of communication were being shut down by ReadyUp, although I'm left with the impression that ReadyUp limited their ability to post in all but one channel of the Discord server while they conducted their investigation, and on top of that, were not communicating in any meaningful way during that time. But they did make it public, which forced ReadyUp into taking further action. Understandable, they were promised payment and payment they did not receive, and then the people they were working for basically began cutting them out of the discussion, and they could smell the smoke that eventually led to the fire. Also, the request that videos on this topic be removed due to a prospective employer's request, that triggers alarm bells for miles in every direction that something is very wrong here. Now, as for ReadyUp screwed up big time. And ultimately, while OceanSparks took public action that ultimately exacerbated this entire situation, it is still ReadyUp's fault for most of the current issues. Now, ReadyUp have expressed that they were extremely happy with the work OceanSparks had done up to that point. So why then, I ask you, would they immediately jump to the conclusion that OceanSparks was attempting to screw them over and pass off asset packs as original work? They claim that anyone in the development scene would know how impossible it would be to make a mistake like that and then run with it, proceeding to implement a different texture than the one they had designed. You have to remember, and let's assume that OceanSpark's statements in this aspect were in earnest here, that they had lifted the texture for implementing motion into the foliage assets in order to learn from the process and create their own code to handle the same. Also, remember that we are referencing a single file that I'll go ahead and bring up on the screen again, where they were using that one file specifically for motion. It stands to reason that if they were developing their own file whilst looking at the other, then the new motion texture would at least be remarkably similar, probably damn near exact, to the original. So if they made a mistake as they claimed and began implementing it, it was likely that it was at least similar enough to be able to escape notice. But ReadyUp were quick to assume the absolute worst, that they themselves were being scammed, and as a result they refused payment, which they have admitted to, and proceeded to spend valuable time and effort pouring through all of the other work that OceanSparks had done looking for other packages. Why? Why would ReadyUp not simply talk to them? They were extremely happy with ReadyUp's work, so much so that they were bringing them in on other aspects of the project that were outside of their original scope of work. So why suddenly pull a full 180 and suspect them of the absolute worst? Abraham Lincoln once said, at least I'm pretty sure it was Abraham Lincoln, "If you look for the bad in people expecting to find it, you surely will." It is a concept that you have already made a predetermination regarding someone, and so you will absolutely find that predetermination because by that point, you are no longer looking for the truth, but you are instead looking for justification for your own thoughts and ideas. ReadyUp should have asked. They should have opened a dialogue instead of immediately and automatically assuming the absolute worst of these people that they had been, up to that moment, been so thoroughly happy with. Was there something making them unhappy previous to that? Perhaps they felt they were paying too much. If so, that is a comical misrepresentation of the worth of a worker's time. A team of 5 people for $4,000 a month? That is unrealistically cheap. And perhaps even it is that surprisingly low cost for a team of 5 that led them to suspect that they weren't being given their money's worth. However, it is common for subcontracted studios like these to take on several projects from different sources in order to make ends meet, splitting time between them based on revenue. At least that's how I assume they would do it. That's what I would do after all, allocate percentages of time based on funds. No, to my mind, ReadyUp had no real reason not to communicate with their subcontractors aside from either a deep abiding suspicion that had already existed, or they were looking for any possible excuse to void the contract. Both of these groups, OceanSparks and ReadyUp, were operating on a basis of incomplete information. Both sides were reacting through assumptions without knowing or comprehending what the other side was doing and why. And as a result, we find ourselves here, listening to me ramble on feigning some sort of intellectual breakdown, whereas I myself hold no claim whatsoever to any deeper or more meaningful insight. Both OceanSparks and ReadyUp are guilty parties in my eyes because of their actions that were based upon assumptions that were a direct result in team members not properly communicating with each other. However, ReadyUp acted in a more deplorable manner based upon the information at hand. But there are no winners in the game of partial points, and OceanSparks is now seemingly defunct as a result, although it is likely they would have gone defunct anyways. They even said as much in their interview with Cryy that the money owed them would not have saved them. It wouldn't have been enough. But in this story, there are 2 other parties, BigFryTV and Cryy. BigFryTV did nothing wrong. He saw a terrible situation and acted the same as I have always seen him. He acted intelligently and with compassion, and it is those character traits that led him to voluntarily private his own video, because he cares, and it is that aspect among so many others that has instilled so much respect for the man in my eyes. And then there is Cryy. Now, I'll admit, I've never heard of this man before, nor have I ever heard of his channel until this topic came to pass. However, from what I saw of him during his video and interview with the Ocean Sparks devs, he very much impressed upon me that he was acting in good faith and was doing his best to help right an injustice. Could he have gathered more information? Sure. There's no such thing as a perfect video, especially in situations like these, but his heart was in the right place, and he handled himself quite well, all things considered. I can see why he's approaching 100,000 subscribers. To my mind, he very much deserves it. But now, Cryy is facing threats of legal action being taken against him by ReadyUp, over defamation of all things. And to that, I would like to instruct the ReadyUp developers to at least perform some basic Google searches on what defamation means. Cryy acted in good faith on information he believed to be entirely accurate. Simply saying something that damages someone else's reputation in the United States does not automatically qualify as defamation. In that, there are a few factors to consider: private figure versus public figure, or involuntary public figure, in matters of public concern. Now, you have to remember that just because ReadyUp are an LLC, that does not make them automatically a public figure. However, I would like to point out that both ReadyUp and Ocean Sparks themselves drug this situation into the public, and as it is a topic of some debate that surrounds a commercial product being created due to its crowdfunding backers, I would say that would very easily fit the definition of a public concern, which there is already established case law in the United States for that. Per the nationwide consumer rights website, in the 1971 Supreme Court case Rosenblum v. Metromania Inc., the court extended the actual malice standard to statements about matters of public concern, even where the plaintiff is a private figure. According to the court, if a matter is a subject of public or general interest, it cannot suddenly become less so merely because a private individual did not voluntarily choose to become involved. The public's primary interest is in the event. The public focus on the conduct of the participant and the content, effect, and significance of the conduct, not the participant's prior anonymity or notoriety. So in this instance, as this topic was made public by both developer parties, this is a matter of public concern insofar as the backers of the game, at the very least, would have an interest in just what the hell is going on. Which means that likely, I have to say likely because let's face it, I'm not a lawyer, ReadyUp would need to prove actual malice on the part of Cryy, just as if they were a public figure. Meaning he would have to know that the narrative being pushed within his video was untrue and proceeded disregarding that. On one aspect, I hope they do sue Cryy. He would probably win with little to no effort, and a YouTuber with a good heart and a good head on his shoulders would benefit greatly in terms of visibility. But at the same time, I hope they don't, because this would mean ReadyUp focusing on what would probably be a completely frivolous lawsuit, spending backer money on legal fees instead of spending it on its originally intended purpose, which is actually making the damn game. In short, ReadyUp fucked up. ReadyUp did not and continue to not act in a professional manner. They continue to act spitefully, without clear comprehension of what it is they are doing or the effect it can have. Ocean Sparks, while unfortunate, painted themselves into a corner financially and exacerbated the situation that they had found themselves in, while also presenting information that was inaccurate and sometimes, potentially, deliberately so. Their request, whether real or no, to have a video discussing this topic taken down is extremely suspect, and I wish I knew what developer it was who had requested that, if any, as those developers deserve a full-on rant at the very least. Interestingly enough, it seems to me that the only parties discussed in this video that acted in good faith were the YouTubers. And I would like to say something directly to the team at ReadyUp. Pull your heads out of your asses, stop acting like you have the moral high ground because you sure as hell don't, and for God's sake drop your aspirations of suing Cryy. You will lose. And not only that, in the so doing, you will likely destroy any possibility of being able to finish the game that so many people pledged over $100,000 to you in order to create. For once, do the responsible thing. Straighten up, act like adults, and do your goddamn jobs. Make the game. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.